All right. Hello, Chicago. While using streaming devices and smartphones to check out your favorite shows, many of you may be skipping over your local nightly news segments. Maybe you're looking for an independent voice that's separate from the mainstream players, more news and special content that is for us by us. If that's the case, you've come to the right place. TRiiBE TV is our take on TV news. And if you know anything about the TRiiBE, we do things a little different over here. We like our news black, no sugar, no cream, like my coffee, with deep and thoughtful stories that reflect the fullness of our experience in Chicago in our own words. Now, we'll keep it innovative, factual, and inclusive. So if you have a story to tell, we want to hear from you because TRiiBE TV ain't about me. It's about us, Black Chicagoans, reshaping and reclaiming our narrative. Guys, hit us up anytime at connect@thetribe.com. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm Rom J, one half of the Mighty Forecast, a cultural correspondent for the TRiiBE and the host of our first TRiiBE TV show, We Real Chicago. Welcome to our first episode, everybody. Awesome. Thank you guys for being with us today. So first things first, let's kick off the show with my segment, the Rom J Report. Okay, the Rom J Report is a rundown of 5 news headlines in the arts and the entertainment world. So first things first, if we're being honest, Chicago is the birthplace of many important and influential music genres, including drill. Okay, this week, the drill community and its fans are in mourning after the fatal shooting of 26-year-old Southside rapper FBG Duck. Okay, now Duck, widely known for his popular single Slide, was killed in a drive-by shooting in the Gold Coast neighborhood of downtown Chicago this past Tuesday. FBG Duck, whose real name is Carlton Weekly, was pronounced dead at Northwestern Memorial Hospital shortly after the shooting. 2 other people were wounded and taken to area hospitals as well. Now, Chicago police are investigating the shooting, which they say is linked to an ongoing gang conflict. Now, we here at the TRiiBE, we're going to dive deeper into what's happening into Chicago's drill scene and into FBG Duck's musical contributions during a panel discussion towards the end of the show. We hope you guys will stay locked in with us. Next, with so many lives lost to gun violence each year, fellow Chicago rapper Herbo is working on a new mental health initiative to heal the untreated trauma that many folks are experiencing. Last week, Herb, alongside the free music streaming platform Audio Mac, launched Swerving Through Stress. It's a tool to help Black youth navigate mental wellness. Now, the initiative also includes the Dream Team Therapy Fund, which will cover the cost of therapy sessions for 3 months for Black youth between ages of 18 and 25. Now, if you've been following Herb's journey from the East Side to the limelight like I've been, you know he's been unafraid to talk about the trauma he's experienced as a kid in the streets. Okay, he even named his 3rd album PTSD to help normalize conversations around mental health. So if you're looking for more information about Swerving Through Stress, you guys can get in tune with Herb and them by visiting swervingthroughstress.com. Once again, get in tune with my man Herb. Check out swervingthroughstress.com to get in tune with that whole mental wellness movement. It's a big thing right now. Now, we all know Black Chicago's got some of the best food in the country. Hell, really the world, if we being all the way real. Now, for the past 3 years, Jeremy Joyce has been highlighting some of the best restaurants in Black Chicago through his platform, Black People Eats. Last month, he reached a milestone. You know, Black People Eats is partnering with Discover for the card company Eat It Forward campaign. Discover is giving away $5 million in COVID-19 relief funding to Black-owned restaurants nationwide. Now, if you guys want Chicago spot, all you have to do is share a post, your favorite restaurant on social media, then you tag at Discover and the restaurant in your post. Third, you want to add the hashtags, hashtag Eat It Forward and hashtag sweepstakes. Once again, if you want to nominate one of your favorite Black-owned Chicago spots, okay, you have to share the post featuring your favorite restaurant, okay, tag at Discover and the restaurant in the post, and add the hashtag Eat It Forward and hashtag sweepstakes. And I don't want to hear from nobody that the Popeyes is Black-owned. I'm talking about genuine Black-owned business, Okay, go ahead and enter them in the sweepstakes. Chicago, the weekly drawings have already started. So you have until October 31st to enter your favorite restaurant in the sweepstakes. Only 200 restaurants will be selected to win $25,000 each. Okay, the final drawing will take place in November. For more details on the Eat It Forward campaign, be sure to check out Black People Eats on Instagram. Guys, please check that out. Go ahead and throw the hashtags on your favorite Black businesses. Let's support Black business. That's a really big grant, 25,000. So, if there's one thing we can say about this summer in Chicago, it's that Black and brown youth have been putting in some serious work, you guys. This week, young folks from Community Youth Development Institute High School, a student store in Austin called Mzuzi, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and a group called Hated Youth added a weekly open mic night to the weekly farmers market they run in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. According to a recent Block Club Chicago News article, the open mic will run every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and the farmers market will continue to run from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and 9 a.m. to noon on Wednesdays. Okay, now you can check out the farmers market and open mic night at the community garden on 77th and Halsted. Big ups to those kids. Hey, you never know. You might even catch your boy Rom J at open mic. Y'all know I can blow something serious. And last but not least, guys, look, Chicago, it's time we bring Kanye West up on charges. Everybody, somebody please get your mans. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this week a New York Times article revealed that Republican activists in almost a half a dozen states are working to get Yeezy's name on the ballot as a third-party candidate. That whole situation begs the question, is Kanye's presidential run actually an operation led by President Trump's allies just in order to divert votes from Democratic candidate Joe Biden? This election cycle is a wild one for sure. We hope y'all are soaking up as much information as you can so you can hit the polls this November. I don't care what nobody says. Every vote counts, and I'm being serious. Okay, so all right, y'all, that wraps up the Rom J report for this week. If you read something that you want to share with the rest of Chicago, tell us about it by emailing us at connect@thetribe.com. Now let's move on to our next segment, Now Playing. I got some dope Black content that I want to share with you guys when you're Netflix and chilling and doing whatever we're doing here in the pandemic. So, Now Playing. Since March, we've been quarantining indoors. Okay, because of the COVID, the dreaded COVID. I don't know about you guys, but watching TV shows, movies, listening to some podcasts, that's just some of the ways that I've been passing the time lately. Self-care is more necessary now than ever, especially in light of the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, and many countless others. In recent weeks, there's been more effort to shed light on content created for us and by us. And in a time of mourning, we need joy too. So here are two movies that I recommend you guys all take a look at. First is Get on the Bus. Okay, Get on the Bus is a Spike Lee joint. I found this joint on Netflix. Get on the Bus is a film that follows a group of Black men to the 1995 Million Man March. The group who boarded the bus in South Central Los Angeles must make it to DC to be a part of history. Now, I thought this movie was thought-provoking, educational, and even kind of funny at times. And as always, pivotal moments in the film's plot are accompanied by Black history in only a way that Spike Lee can do it. Next up is I Am Not Your Negro. Okay. I'm Not Your Negro is a visual essay that explores racism through the lives of his friends Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King Jr. Now, this documentary is narrated and is based on an unfinished manuscript for Remember This House, which he was working on in the 1970s. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with James Baldwin, he was a literary giant, an influential thought leader who tackled masculinity, race, class, and sexuality in his work. As James Baldwin dives into some of America's most deep-rooted issues throughout the I Am Not Your Negro documentary, he also recalls the moments he heard about each of his friends' untimely deaths and how they impacted the racially charged world around them. I Am Not Your Negro is a must-watch. And lastly, but of course not least, I have to address Disney Plus. I'm bringing Disney Plus up on charges now, guys. I downloaded Disney Plus. I did it for the childrens. I did it for the kids, and it's fun and lighthearted. And they got the Incredibles and a lot of different cool stuff. It's nostalgic for all of us because they got That's So Raven, and it's great. I love Disney Plus, but you know what? They're missing something. They're missing a classic. They're missing Brandy's Cinderella, starring Whitney Houston as her fairy godmother. This was one of the classics of our childhood. And so I have no other choice but to bring Disney Plus up on charges. When this TV movie aired in 1997, it reached over 60 million viewers. Okay, it was the most watched television musical in decades. ABC clocked in their highest Sunday night ratings in over 10 years. Okay, not to mention the cast is star-studded from top to bottom with real legendary talent like Whoopi Goldberg. And it cost $12 million. They had a $12 million budget on this film, which back in the mid-90s, $12 million was a lot of money. It still is now, okay? And it actually made it, 12 million makes Brandy's Cinderella one of the most expensive television films ever made, okay? So now, Disney Plus has some super black content streaming recently, okay? After all, Beyonce's new visual album, Black is King, is a Disney Plus must-see. I've actually watched it. It was dope. I can't lie. It was dope. Black is King is a stellar and breathtaking visual. Okay, it's a take on the 1994 classic The Lion King, which Disney remade with a live-action version in 2019, also starring Beyonce as Nala. Okay, but people want to know, where is Brandy? Hulu, if you guys have Hulu, has like this luxurious spread of black content that can't be denied. Netflix is throwing many of the major black content haymakers recently on its platform. In the coming months, they'll be adding The Parkers, One-on-One, Sister, Girlfriends, Half and Half, and The Game. Okay, and Moesha was added on the 1st of August. Okay, giving Brandy, Countess Vaughn, and everybody all their much-deserved flowers. So Disney Plus, we want to know, when will you add Brandy's Cinderella? Okay, and I'm also harping on the fact that the famous Jet Jackson is also missing from the lineup. R.I.P. Lee Thompson Young, one of my all-time favorites. Okay, now let's transition to our next segment called The Forecast. The death of black people at the hands of the police, coupled with mass unemployment and the deadly global pandemic, has pushed people nationwide to make their voices heard in the streets. George Floyd's murder in May was the straw that broke the camel's back. Since his death, the people have been taking the streets, organizing, protesting, pulling down anti-black statues, any and all things to get the message across that Black Lives Matter. Chicago is not new to the movement work. For years, local groups have organized and rallied for justice for Black lives lost to police violence in Chicago. Here, organizers are constantly reminding folks to say the names of Rekia Boyd, Laquan McDonald, and many others in hopes of bringing justice to their families. The Black Lives Matter movement has been a spark for many Chicago musicians who continue to capture this moment in history through their music. They've been motivating the people citywide to keep hitting the pavement. Okay, so here are 10 songs that we recommend to anyone who needs a soundtrack to fight for Black lives here in the city. Number 1, Life by Saba. Yo, anybody who's ever checked out Pivot Gang, and if you're familiar with Saba, knows that this group is dope. Okay, last year I went to the John Wall Day Foundation concert, okay, the benefit, and it was a dope event. A lot of artists came out, FemDot. I just had a great time. It was great vibe. So number 1, this is in no particular order, but we're going to go 1, Saba, Life. Check that track out if you guys have never heard it. Number 2, Made in America by our guy, Tony Cartel. Tony has been featured on the TRiiBE before, okay, on The Forecast. We've interviewed him many times. Tony's a dope artist, and his music is definitely dope. So check out Tony Cartel, Made in America. 3, once again, Bella Baz, Black Power. This song just personifies the movement right now. So guys, check out Bella Baz. Herbo, Summer is Canceled. This song actually came out pre-COVID. So it's kind of ironic that he said summer is canceled when summer was actually in real life canceled. This song is more centered around gun violence. And it's kind of messed up because he's talking about big homies and how we really can't trust big homies, and how if you grew up in the streets of Chicago, you know, he says even the best get finessed. So don't get finessed. We'll be talking to some big homies later. I got Bo Deal in the house. And Chicago Dave. I got Chicago King Dave in the crib. So we got some big homies. We're gonna talk to them later. Let's see. Next is Be Still by Flex. Flex is an up-and-coming artist. He's really dope. He's known for songs like 9 Lives, and he's got a lot of hits. And he's one of my favorite artists that I'm listening to right now. So make sure you guys check out Flex. Fight Like Ida B and Marsha P by Rick Wilson. This song really kind of has more of a Chicago house music feel to it, to go ahead and go with the movement. So that's a good look. Black Girl Soldier by Jamila Woods. Jamila just performed at the virtual Lollapalooza, and she's been getting a lot of pub lately. So make sure you guys check out Black Girl Soldier by Jamila Woods. I believe she just put out a dope single too the other day. So make sure you guys check her out. Julian Love is the next artist I want to go ahead and spotlight, and Blacked. Okay. Dope artist. Julian Love performed at one of the first TRiiBE Tuesdays when we were just getting off our feet. He's always showed love. Plus, Julian makes dope music. So make sure you guys check that out. Number 9, Freedom by Corporate. I picked this song. I want to put a spotlight on Corporate. He's more than just a comedian. Corporate's been doing really good work when it comes to the fight against gun violence, and being heavily involved with the movement for social justice. So shout out to Corporate, and Shadow Man by our girl No Name. So go ahead and check out those 10 songs if you guys want something to listen to while you are fighting the movement here. We'll be adding these songs and more to our YouTube playlist, The Forecast. Stay in tune with us to check them out. All right. Next on We Real Chicago, we've got some special guests coming on to talk about the passing of FBG Duck. This next segment is called The Shylight. It's where we dive deeper into news and issues happening in Black Chicago. Okay. This past Tuesday, a drive-by shooting in the Gold Coast shopping district claimed the life of 26-year-old Southside rapper FBG Duck. To those who knew him, FBG Duck was a loving father, a good friend, and a talented rapper that was evolving and creating music outside of the drill genre, that made him famous. Joining us tonight to talk about his life and career are Bo Deal, who's a rapper. He's also has an ongoing violence prevention program called the 2020 Vision Campaign that leverages credible messengers to reduce violence and provide COVID-19 education. He was also close friends with FBG Duck. Mark Braboy. Mark is a Chicago freelance journalist who covers music and entertainment and the cannabis industry. He's been following Chicago's drill movement since its beginning in the early 2010s. He's also a TRiiBE contributor. Welcome to We Real Chicago, guys. Thank you for being here with us. Bo Deal, thanks for showing up, brother. I know you knew FBG Duck really well. I just want to offer condolences, of course, to his family and to his friends and to his fans. My first question is, here we'll go to Mark. Mark, how you doing, brother?
I'm cool, and how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for joining us. So we'll start off just by talking about, can you briefly just give us a brief explanation of drill? What is it? And explain to us, how does Duck's style of music fit within the Chicago drill movement?
Well, for those who don't know, drill music began in 2010 with a guy named Pac-Man, who's affiliated. He's from Joe City. He's a part of King Louis and them camp. And drill music, for the most part, is party music and street music for the most part, where it's like people from the cities talking about things that's happening, and their community. It's based off real life, and it's like it loosely comes off of the long tradition of gangster rap, but more aggressive, more energy, more, you know what I'm saying, hype, you know what I'm saying, with songs like Finito, Don't Like, and even FBG Duck Slide, you know. And what from a musical standpoint, what he added to the mix was he had a more smash mouth in your face style when it's like all his every single lyric, whether it's a real song like Chicago Legends or a party song like Slide, you felt every word of it. So he would be the more like RDMX, if you will, of drill music, if that makes sense. DMX, as far as authenticity, passion, and high energy and aggression, of course, and honesty. And honesty, he was also very honest in his music, of course.
Great. And I'll go to Bo. And real quick, Bo, I saw you were busy when we first got on, but I just want to rewind. What was your relationship with Duck, Bo? If you could just explain that to the people.
He was like a little brother. He used to call me for all type of advice. You know what I'm saying? Just advice. Try and keep him focused and keep him on the right path. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get him involved with a lot of positive activities and things that I got going on. So, you know, just a good friend, somebody I looked at like a little brother.
Right, right. Um, and let's see, Bo, was it Duck's dream to become a rapper? Could you just speak on that?
You know, I can't say dream because I met him 10 years ago. When I met him, he had just started rapping. He had came to my studio with this little guy named Ray Ray, and he was just starting to rap then. You know what I'm saying? He said he wanted to rap. He was trying to get his music off the ground, and that he didn't think that a lot of people would mess with him because of his beef back and forth with Chief Keef and them. And he knew that I had a relationship with Keith and those little guys too. But you know, like I told him, man, I'm too old to get in the middle of kid wars. So I always opened the doors and embraced them, even when Keith never was on top of the world. So that's really why he really respected me, because I never not messed with him because of, you know what I'm saying, his affiliation.
Right now, Mark, real quick, I want to talk to you about the connection between the drill movement and as we welcome Chicago King Dave. How you doing, brother?
I'm
And all right, looks like we lost Dave again. Here, Mark, I'll go to you, Mark. What's the connection between the drill movement, do you think, and what happened to Duck, Trey Savage, countless others? What's the connection there?
First of all, I want to say it's a proud honor for me to be on the panel with Bo Deal here. You know what I'm saying? I
Most
always wanted to
definitely.
meet this brother, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. He definitely a good brother, you know what I'm saying, I was out here. But to answer
Most
your
definitely.
question,
Respect.
I I mean, as far as the connection between drill and his shooting and even this thing in what happened with Trey Savage, I'm not fully ready to put that on him, even though he put out a video 3 weeks ago called Dead Bitches, of course, when he was like alluding to, you know what I'm saying, he was dissing Keith and them, all them dead homies from O Block or whatever. But I don't know. It's hard for me to really just say that's the reason he got killed when he had so many other things going on. Even when he talked about in his interviews for years, he talked about how so many people hated him because of his reputation in the streets, hate on him because of success, and vice versa. You know, so I don't want to just clear cut say that it's a clear connection, but if he had got killed for that, it's not just because of the recent record, you know, at least to me. It's not just because of that. It's just, you know, people who always want to have a hit on him for years. You know, people all, even he acknowledged himself in plenty of interviews with Zach TV. People wanted to have this man dead for years. It's just who ever would have thought that of all the places you get smoked in Chicago, you get smoked in downtown Chicago, you know.
Exactly. And I want to touch on that point, Mark. And I want to ask Bo, just why does the location of where Doug died really matter? What's the significance to that? I mean, he died in one of the most wealthiest parts of town.
Because it's a place where nobody like. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, it was Bodine.
No, go ahead.
Because it's a place where. Because it's a place where you just don't expect to get shot, even though there has been stuff happening downtown lately. Even even when you look at a lot of FBG Duck old interviews, he always carried himself in a particular way. He always moved differently. He moved his children differently. You know what I'm saying? All about when he roamed through the hood because he was in the streets for real. But downtown is generally a place where you don't expect to get shot. Just period, because of all the cameras around all these buildings and all the police that's around. Like, wouldn't nobody want to take out Duck unless they felt like it was an opportunity to, unless they really wanted to do him like that. You get what I'm saying?
Right, Bo?
Yeah, I agree. Like Chicago downtown area is like one of the areas where I felt safer downtown than really anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it just lets you know that whoever saw them, they had to take their shot. You know what I'm saying? Because it was sweet. They took their shot. But I was just downtown with Waka Flocka last weekend, and downtown was looking like Madison Street. Like all the guys is down there. They down there with their poles. Everybody scamming. They doing the 10K, 20K. So everybody got money. They in all them stores doing all the shopping, and they going down there with their mob. So ain't no telling who you gonna run into. You know what I'm saying?
They're in the high rises right now, Bo. Everybody in the high rises
right
right
now.
Yeah,
in the high rises too. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you guys touched on something I wanted to talk about, Bo. I'm a fan. I was watching the Straight Drop podcast, which I enjoy, brother.
Appreciate it. On the way back.
Yes, sir. You guys check that out if you haven't. And I was watching the Rico Reckless interview, and he mentioned that everybody who got big in Chicago, and he had a decent point. Everybody who got big in Chicago, they had some sort of diss song that came with that, and the heat kind of bubbles after you put out the diss. Can you just speak to the narrative of how the streets fuel music streams for rappers? And does it kind of force fans to get invested in drill like a soap opera or dramatic TV series? I mean, we see a lot of these fans taking a lot of stuff really serious. Can you just speak to that, Bo?
Man, I tell these artists all the time, like the diss songs don't get you real fans. They don't get you real fans. It's people tuning in to see who you gonna talk about next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I never got off into that. I never respected it. I told Duck, and you know what I'm saying? I told him when he just dropped the last song that he dropped, I said, man, look, bro, I don't think that was a good move because I had just brought him in to do the 2020 Vision campaign. I was getting him all type of money. I was doing a lot for him. Even right now, for his mama, like a lot of people say they love him and say they rocking with him, but they ain't. I talked to his mama. I just hung up. Actually, she just called now. I've been doing stuff for helping her to get relocated because the Chicago Tribune to put a address in the paper. Like I do a whole lot. Like I rocked with him behind the scenes like a little brother. So I told him I didn't think it was a good move, and he told me, man, I tried to do the Chicago Legend song. They kept talking about my dead homies and everything. So he was just a product of his environment. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that song is the reason why he gone, though. I think if he hadn't dropped that song and the people that wanted him seen him, I think they'd have took their shot anyway. You know what I'm saying? He was moving smart. He wasn't in the city like that. And when he was moving the right way. But you know, who would think that downtown on Oak Street, broad daylight, with all these people, all these cameras, downtown traffic, that somebody gonna take a shot like that? I wouldn't have bet on it.
Yeah. We want to take a time to welcome King Dave. What's going on, big homie?
Hey, what's going on now?
Nothing much, brother.
What's going on, bro?
How y'all doing?
Yes, sir. Now, King Dave, we just want to rewind it for a second since you're just now joining us. Explain to us your relationship with Duck, how you knew him, how long did you know him? Just explain your relationship.
Well, I knew Duck probably since like 09, 2010. It go back from like my neighborhood and his neighborhood. A bunch of little things had happened. One of my guys and his people there. I ended up coming up with the Fuck Fame brand, and you know, we just ended up linking from there with me, him, and Billy, and then they was like pushing my brand for me and stuff like that. So, you know, we had just like a big brother relationship.
Right. Okay, and did you know Duck as a father? How was he as a father? This goes for Dave and Bo.
I mean, well, you know, I ain't spent a lot of time like taking trips with him and the kids, but I did see a lot of times I FaceTime him. You know, he be in the house, he be with his kids, and you know, he always spoke highly of it. You know, like this what he was doing, what he was doing for. Like most men, once you get to the point, you start making some bread and stuff like that. But you know, he was a good person, man. Duck was a real person, and if you pay attention, that's why a lot of people was affected by his death. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people rock with Duck. Duck was one of the few artists, such as Bo, who you would see from Chicago, that got a lot of features with different artists. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
you make it to the status, I'm sorry about that. When you make it to that status like Bo and Duck, you know, people in Chicago artists ain't giving you no feature or nothing like that. But you can YouTube Bo, you can YouTube Duck, and you're gonna see probably 200 features from Chicago artists from them.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that just tell you they character and the type of guys that they were.
No doubt, no doubt. And fellas, feel free to jump in if you guys have anything to say. To Bo, I just want to ask, you mentioned that Duck was evolving and he was making music outside of the genre. What caused this shift, do you think?
I mean, the environment. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he wanted. I talked to him on many nights. I got so many texts from him, like what he telling me, man, he don't want to. You know, he trying to stay out that lane. So if you go listen, like he really could make music. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all about drill music or all about the violent shit. He was talking about real life in a lot of songs, man. And you know, he was speaking about the innocent kids getting killed and things of that nature. But when you still a part of your environment and the guys that you around, you know what I'm saying, still got the same issues going on in the streets, and you trying to go one way, but your so-called ops is still, you know, popping shots about your dead brother and your dead homies. It's not hard to fall back off into the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what happened to him, man. You know, I can tell you, I done had a lot of homies die. I done had a lot of friends die. You know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. Like that one, his death. You know that I felt that one. You know what I'm saying, because he had so much potential, and I just ain't see him. You know, I hated seeing him go out, how he went out, you know what I'm saying, with the cameras all on him, and you know what I'm saying, like even you know, and then I mess with his ops, with the so-called ops. They know I don't look at none of them as ops. I tell them I don't.
So I think we've lost Bo. Fellas, are you guys all still here with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm tuned in, locked in.
All right, wonderful. So I just wanted to speak to you fellas about, so when we talk about making a Chicago industry, you know, there's an LA scene. The industry is really in Atlanta right now. New York always has their own thing kind of going on. In a time where it seems like, okay, Chicago music is rising up again, we have these deaths in the industry, and it kind of makes you wonder, well, how can we start an industry based right here in the Midwest when artists don't want to stay here? And as we saw, an artist that didn't want to leave in Duck gets flat out murdered in the middle of the street in a wealthy part of town. How can we build a Chicago music scene? We'll go to King Dave and then we'll go to Bo. Dave.
Man, it's something that I hear Bo preach about, something that I speak on all the time. Like it's gonna take structure from that, because you got to realize Chicago music is all niggas that's from the streets. So you gotta have some type of structure. You know what I'm saying? If we trying to do anything music wise, like you got to think about it. All the hottest records from Chicago is about dissing somebody that's dead and pissing on graves. So we got to get all those things under control first before we can even think about building any type of music industry for Chicago. We got to get these blocks in headlock right now. And right now, like, it's just out of control. You know what I'm saying? And you got people like Bo, me, a few other people that do a lot of speaking and stuff, but it's gonna take us to do more than that. You know what I'm saying? And it's beginning to be so frustrating to me to see these young boys, to see Duck stressed out on that ground. It could have been one of his ops stressed out. I still would have felt a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because these people, kids and mamas, got to see this stuff on YouTube forever. You know?
Yeah.
So, man, it's gonna take a lot of work, bro. And me and Bo might not even be alive by the time this change. Because
Yeah, it's
Chicago,
really a shit.
it's embedded, and you got to think that Duck dead, so it's really up there and it's stuck. Ain't nobody finna be listening to nobody right now. Here on out, I can promise you, there's nothing none of us can do. Nothing. Duck gone. So you just know it's 200 other people. Right? They not listening to nothing.
Yeah, Bo, can I get your take? How can we rebuild a Chicago industry? Bo, please.
He just put it. He just let you know it's gonna take structure. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no structure out here. Back when we was doing music, you know what I'm saying? We was all different things. JoJo Capone they was gangsters. They was global gangsters. Bump them was foes. We was vice lords. LEP, that they from the low end. GDs, but he a stone. Like, and we all got along. You know what I'm saying? Then before us, you got Crucial Conflict, Snipers, Do It That. Man, it wasn't never none of this. You know what I'm saying? When you start crossing certain lines and certain barriers, but we had structure. So too, you know what I'm saying? So we was a part of organizations where you couldn't do what you wanted to do. When all those heads start leaving and niggas start going to jail, these shorties ain't had nobody to really answer to, so they start doing their own thing. So when you start talking about dead homies and fueling beefs and shit on the internet, how can you stop that? Like, you know, so how could I stop it? You know what I'm saying? Even the ones like they respect me, but they don't respect me enough to put the guns down and stop shooting. First off, I'm from out west and up north. They out south doing their own thing. So they'll listen while I'm there, but they gonna do what they gonna do. They in it. You know what I'm saying? So until the guys from their areas or the guys, certain guys who they look up to or respect come home and start laying the, you know what I'm saying, the hammer down and standing on them with an iron fist, man, I don't see it changing no time soon.
Of course, and fellas, I think a problem with it, half of it is the narrative surrounding the culture. For instance, our very own mayor called Duck shortly after his death somebody who fancied himself a rapper. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the quote. Mark, did you have anything to say about that?
What was the quote?
We actually have a piece of it. Let's see if my producers can get a work on the quote. She basically was referencing FBG Duck, and she said he was somebody who fancied himself a rapper. It's basically like if a preacher go to church every Sunday and preaches, I'm gonna say he fancies himself a preacher. No, this young man was really a rapper who spent 8 to 10 years rapping and finally made enough money to feed his family and to be successful. And she said he was gang affiliated and fancied himself a rapper. Mark, can you speak towards that? We're going to work on the quote.
That epitomizes how the city has always felt about drill music. That just epitomizes that compared to more quote unquote respectable rappers who came from the same streets but have a more respectable, and this is no rap like Chance the Rapper, people like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that's just epitomizes how they always felt about drill rappers who couldn't make the city no money, because you know the city started just embracing G Herbo and Lil Durk, barely. So I mean,
this is true.
Short, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and all those issues.
Her first
about,
performance in a long time was at Lollapalooza last year.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mark.
And it just show how once you viewed as a street nigga by the city, regardless of what you do, regardless of how you change your life, you gonna always be looked at that way by the city. So I think that epitomizes that.
Yeah, I mean, you made a valid point. I've never heard her speak of Chance the Rapper, and that lighter said he fancies himself a rapper. King Dave Bodil, is there anything you guys want to add to that? I don't know if you've seen the quote, but very facetious, very sarcastic quote from the mayor's office. Anything you guys would like to add to that?
You know what? That didn't even bother me. You know, I mean, she the mayor, so she can't get on there when we all know he was affiliated with Gangster Disciples. So, you know, she just was doing her job. I didn't take that personal. You know what I'm saying? She can't get up there praising him. And he had got it's a gun on the scene. They saying it was his. It's all type of things. So, you know, when you from the streets, the man ain't finna get up there and praise you. That make her look bad. So it didn't make me feel no type of way. It had to be bogus. Or Bo got up there and said something. Then yeah, that was bogus. But the mayor saying that, I felt like I expected it, you know, to come out of her mouth.
Now, Bo, did you have anything to add?
No, I ain't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I ain't see it.
Okay. And real quick, guys, how we'll shift over to the news. Okay. Just the way the news covers gun violence, how does it impact the streets, Mark?
Can you elaborate on that question? How does the coverage on gun violence affect the streets?
Like, okay, like for instance, the news doesn't normally cover Duck. We only hear
Right,
about Duck when he is shot and killed. You know what I'm saying?
right.
On the news. You know what I'm saying? So can you just speak towards the overall news presence in black neighborhoods in Chicago and how it impacts the streets?
I mean, the overall news presence, how it affects the streets. I mean, streets don't trust the mainstream news. I mean, that's just the way that the news has just covered certain artists over the years. Like it just epitomized just how it's always going to be a complicated relationship between the streets and the news, for better and for worse. So I just think that that particular coverage just shows how just it just epitomized just that just messed up relationship with the news and everything between the streets, because some outlets are only going to just cover just certain aspects of Doug, saying he was this type of person, he's this, and making him going to try to make him a poster child of Chicago violence, if you will, rather than talk about how he used his voice at oftentimes to help inspire change in his community in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I just think that it's important that it's just last thing I'm gonna say about this before I go on. I just think that it's just important how voices like, because I seen a quote today about how from one outlet that I'm not gonna name, you know what I'm saying, has had a statement about how rappers in Chicago are like, street dudes from Chicago are encouraged by the music industry to be rappers or something crazy. So I just think that it's important for outlets like the TRiiBE and other black outlets, to do their job and tell the truth, like we always have been doing.
Facts. And I want to go to Bo and King Dave. We'll talk about last month. FBG Duck posted a video on his Instagram talking about the shooting deaths of children in the city. I'm sure you guys have seen this video, and how he didn't want to be shot in front of his own children, and how he said he give somebody a pass if he saw his daughter next to him. He'd get the next man a pass because that's how he would feel. Um, when you watch that video and then knowing what happened to Duck, what comes to mind for you guys when you reminisce on his words? And more specifically, Bo, I'll go to you first. What type of work was he doing with your 2020 vision campaign to impact Chicago in a positive way, Bo?
I was going, I'm the one who went and recorded that. I'm the one who went to his house and got the recording of that, and he had his kids then. They was on their way to the beach. They was about to go to the beach right then. He was just saying how he loved his kids and how, you know what I'm saying, he was tired. Like he told me he was tired of the street shit, and that he wanted a better way, but he liked, the environment, you know what I'm saying? He caught up in it, you know what I'm saying? But he still was trying to go a better route. Then he had another situation with the music that was about to fall through for him. He had a lot of good stuff going, man. So he was excited about the things that he had coming up, and and really just trying to change his life and stay out of the inner cities. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't even coming to the city like that. He was staying out by his house and by his mom and them house, not even coming to the city. So, you know, he wanted change, man. It's just unfortunate that he gone now, man. You know, because he really was trying. He really wanted to change and really was trying to do the right thing, man. And when he had made a post when the stuff was going on in Little Village with the Mexicans, and he like, man, we need to go over here with the after I had already been over there with the Mexicans and got.
I saw you post. You went over with the Mexicans. You said, "Hey, you see me? I'm good in every hood. There ain't nothing going on here. They ain't pulling black people out of cars and all that goofy stuff."
See, they was at first, but I went over there and talked to they big heads. We got it all together. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when I told him, I say, man, nah, I've been over there. He went and took his post down. He did, like, he listened. He just, you know what I'm saying? Like all the other young guys in the city, if you let them run wild, they're gonna run wild. But if you got somebody that they respect, that are uplifting them and try and pull them on the right path, he'll listen, man. He was a good dude, man. You know,
I think he was on the road to being just that.
Yeah.
He was on that road to being just that, to being one of the many artists that you see now, just talking to the kids and, you know, being more of a positive influence on just people his age and even people older. You know, he always, because even in his music, he always had like a older standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Always spoke kind of like an elder statesman when he was 23 or 24. You know, so I just think that, you know, despite all his situations, despite all his beefs, you know, they took out somebody who could have changed their life in some way, which is really the most unfortunate part of it all, really.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So, there, guys, we're getting ready to wrap it up. I've got one more question. All right. Thibault, and we'll even switch up to Mark here. So now social media is buzzing, and we all know how this works. It's gonna buzz for a while. We'll talk about Duck. But what do you, Bo? And I'll ask you first. What do you want people to know about your friend, your little brother? How should people remember him, please?
He was a good guy that was just a product of his environment. You know what I'm saying? He was a talented artist. You know what I'm saying? That wanted better. You know, it's pretty much it, man. Trying to make it out the hood. He was a good dude, but a product of his environment. But his good outweighed his bad. Pretty much it on my end.
All right, wonderful. Mark, anything you want to say as we get ready to wrap up here?
I think that FBG, and it's going to be complicated, you know what I'm saying? FBG Duck leaves behind a complicated legacy, both as an artist and as a man, and how he going to be remembered. Like people like us, the real people of Chicago, you know, we always going to remember him as somebody who was caught up in bad, but tried to do a lot of good for a lot of people. So we all gonna remember all the good stuff that he provided, and of course, all us music heads gonna hold him high in the canon of drill music. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that's gonna remember him for bad reasons. There's gonna be a lot of, you know, over the next couple of days, you're gonna see a lot of dissing, you're gonna see a lot of violence, and you're gonna see a lot of ugliness. So I just hope that somehow, some way, in the same way that Pop Smoke, like 22 G's, did his beef with Pop Smoke when he died. Hopefully, cooler heads can come together in Chicago and at least end the violence on a lot of this stuff involving him. Because I don't think he would want to see just a whole big wave of killing in his own neighborhood, and even in you know, GB in them neighborhoods, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that he just leaves behind a legacy that where he deserves to be remembered as a complex black man that's no different than the rest of us, given his circumstances, who deserve much better circumstances.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, hey, look, fellas, thank you guys for joining us here in our panel discussion. Mark Braboy, Bo Deal, Chicago King Dave. Thank you guys once again.
It's
Chicago
always
King
an
Dave.
honor.
Man, thanks for having me, man. Y'all stay blessed.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
stay
Always.
blessed too as well, man.
Thank you guys.
Yes,
We hope to link up with you guys soon here on We Real Chicago. Thanks again, fellas.
All right, you're welcome. God bless you.
All right. So FBG Duck gone at 26 years old. Next, we have the scene at the TRiiBE. Okay. The scene is all about what's happening in and around Chicago. All right. Now, here to tell us more about what's happening this weekend in Chicago is the TRiiBE's outreach and engagement coordinator, Anthony Bryan. Anthony, what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Hey, Rom J, man, I'm doing pretty good, bro. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming here on the show. Now, guys, Anthony, I know what Anthony does. Anthony, tell the viewers what you do in relation to the scene.
So, man, like you said, I'm the outreach and engagement associate. So, what I do is I work on the scene. So, get connected with organizations, companies, and help them promote their events. So, the scene is one of our platforms. It's a free platform on the TRiiBE.com where people can upload their events. I also do work with our social media. So when you first get to the scene, you can create an account. It's free. So you can put in an email address and password. And once you log in, after logging in, you can create new event. So if you have a birthday party, a kickback, if you have a networking event, or if it's a protest and march that you want to promote, you can put in those details right there and, put it into the event category. And then from there, you can just add the date and the location. So it can be in up north Chicago, down south, out west, over east. And, it would get to the exact spot in Chicago, as well as the suburbs.
Okay, so the scene is like a social GPS, okay, leading Black Chicago to your very own TRiiBE. That's the TRiiBE with two eyes. .com. Go to the bottom of the site, I believe, or is it at the top of the site, Anthony? Where can we click on the scene?
It is at the top of the site once you get
Okay.
onto the TRiiBE website. And I know sometimes people may not be